Welcome back to World Tour London 2018, where we're continuing to deliver you Facebook Lives, looking at vertical topics throughout technology. Next up, we're going to be looking at the future workplace of, say, 2025. With me, Martin Smithen, Head of Offerings.
Hello.
Hello there. Thanks for taking the time out to speak to us. Future technology 2025. That's probably a challenge that some businesses are aware of, but to others, they're thinking, we're only in 2018. 2025's got ages away.
Yeah, I think the point of 2025 is it's a frame for where we believe organisations will be going in the future. I think it gives organisations the target that they need to aim at. I think those changes are accelerating. So although where we've called out things for 2025, I think a lot of those things will land faster, and organisations have to move a lot quicker to start adopting those, because people in their home lives are already doing some of those things, and they'll expect to see the workplace doing much the same.
So does that mean, in our home lives, the technology we've got, we're moving at a faster rate of businesses, so companies need to be doing more then?
Yes, I think the point is now people can chop and change a lot quicker from one device, one tool, one application to another. The tolerance for things not working is decreasing. The acceptance is things will always work. They get it right first time, and it'll be delivered first time. I think when people come to work, they're going to start to expect to get that same right first time feeling from what they're doing. And I think the generation coming into the workforce now is one of the first that doesn't put pay as one of the top reasons for joining. It's actually the environment they're coming into. So they want to work somewhere that gives them the tools, the place to work, the environment, the feeling of the collaboration to actually enjoy working. And I think organisations, if they don't start adopting some of those things faster, will find it much harder to recruit the top talent.
Far more values focused then?
Far more values focused. I think, as I said, it's all about then, both from an organisation and an employee point of view, working out what's important. So we've worked often recently in a very price-driven market, where things that we're delivering are all delivered around the price and what can be got out of it. But it's now much more about, well, what does it give to you as a business? What does it give to your employees? How are you going to become more productive? And that change of mindset is what's driving all the changes today.
I guess is usually the case with anything. Some businesses are better at responding to these challenges than others?
Yes, I think some businesses are. I think smaller organisations tend to be slightly more flexible, so they can adopt the changes. This whole mentality of being agile, failing fast, I think works better in organisations that can bring those technologies in, try them and move on. I think larger organisations have much bigger governance processes. They're much slower to adopt some of these things, and they sort of back that horse until it drops. So rather than say, well, actually, we'll now cut our losses and move on to another technology, they continue to deliver and deliver and deliver without then doing the checks to say, is it actually delivering the value? Has the market moved on? And they have to change that mindset, because the things are moving much, much faster than they ever were.
Let's talk exciting technologies, and I realise this could be a sort of subjective question. I'm sure many people have got different opinions, but for you right now, what are the most exciting technologies that are breaking through?
I think what we're seeing now is, for me, it's big data and analytics. So the use of information that we've already got in organisations and outside organisations through all the social media tools, and how can you bring that to actually deliver services to the people in the right way, in the right time, in the right place? So having an understanding of who the people are, what they're doing, bringing all that information and data together, and then increasingly using artificial intelligence and automation to actually drive the activities behind that to deliver the benefits. So ultimately, you won't know, for example, if you start on a self-service tool, that you're talking to an artificial agent and ending up with a human one, or vice versa. So we have a completely seamless approach to how we're using that data and how that's then being deployed to help people like yourselves or the staff in these organisations do things differently. And that's where the value will come. And that's what will differentiate organisations in the future, is how they use information, the new oil, to drive those activities, because it's all about what you do with the data, measuring what matters, then driving activities that actually deliver that value beyond that.
I think it's worth saying that Fujitsu's philosophy on automation is not to replace jobs, but to free people up to do other more important tasks?
Yes, I mean, we're looking at it. A good example would be what we're doing with our field force, engineering force, in that things breaking, the breakage of a physical IT device is actually decreasing. You don't see so many breakages now. So what we're actually doing is predicting some of those failures and taking those issues away. But what that means is our engineers are actually becoming more like advisors, So they're inside organisations now advising on what's the best way to use that device or that application. When should you change that device or application? How can you do something different? Because again, that's where the value comes. It's not in just going out and trying to repair a broken item. There's no real value in that anymore. It's how do you get value out of how you're using those pieces of technology to do some different things. So very much we're gearing up our field force and our employees more generally to become more advisory, more consultative in the way they approach services and delivering the knowledge base that actually is the intelligence, going back to what we use with the data, to actually give you as a customer that value-added service.
What about cultural challenges? I imagine there's got to be some cultural issues that need to be addressed.
I think that's one of the big barriers to overcome. I think so many large organisations have got traditional heavy age-related issues that smaller organisations don't have at the moment. So the spread of people in the workplace creates problems in itself, in that there's a resistance often amongst some of the older generation to change and to move to these rapid approaches. I think smaller organisations don't have those cultural barriers. I think that's why you see people wanting to go and work for some of the brands that we see, like the Apples, the Googles, the people they perceive as being the fast-moving organisations, because they want that cultural dynamic. They want to be able to work in an organisation that delivers those services. So organisations with a traditional process-driven cultures, they're the ones that are going to have trouble in adopting some of those new technologies and doing different things.
Final question. If there was one message that you could land with boardrooms that are going back into the business tomorrow, what would it be?
For me, it would be braver. I think, especially in the UK as an example, traditionally we've been quite risk averse in the way we've adopted new technologies and new business services. I think to the boardroom, you have to try these things. You have to be prepared to call time on projects that have already been running for some time. You can't keep backing a horse that is no longer running as fast as it was. So you have to be prepared to cut your losses, walk away and try something new and adopt that new agile approach, because that's what's happening outside the organisations. That's why new organisations are coming in. And if they don't do that, then they will fail.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. Martin Smithen, Head of Offerings here at Fujitsu. If you've got any questions, which is usually the case, drop us a note on the social channels and we'll get them across to the team and we'll get them answered for you. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.